This is a little corridor leading up from the road and here's up to the beach. And the lifeguard men just got here in this little hut. And it's so quiet. And then you come over this little ridge and there's almost no wind. The seas are really, really calm, but there are some waves and you start hearing it. It's just gorgeous to me. I like getting here early. It's only my second time, but like with anything else, get there early, you don't have to fight the parking. And me, not particularly enjoying being around big crowds, this is just right for me. So I'm gonna sit my happy ass right here in these half-burned pallets and talk about my sobriety. It is 8 months today, and it feels absolutely amazing. Fonda Cheeseman says hi. 8 months ago, I finally got the courage to put that stinking bottle down. Hi, Wicca. So glad you're here. And it's not exactly what I thought it would be. I thought some of the ailments in my body that bothered me would go away more, but I guess that's just part of being old. But since I am getting older, why in the world would I contribute to the aging process that we all have to go through and cannot fight, unless of course you're an elite and you consume in the adrenochrome. I can't say certain words because I might get zapped by the gods. Yeah, aging is, oh my God, look at these pelicans. That is just so cool. Yes, I'm getting distracted like squirrel because of all the cool stuff. Anyway, yeah, quit drinking and there's no sense in poisoning my body anymore. And it's humbling. It's really, really humbling. I got out of Texas finally. I can't believe I quit while being out of Texas. Or in Texas. To me, that's in and of itself. Look at that. Yeah, I'm not going to be much good talking about my sobriety whenever I've got just picturesque, perfect views here in Florida. I'm in this thing. Somebody just said, I don't know who that was. But, I'm going to try to stay focused, but oh my gosh, this is very surreal. I knew I could make it to 8 months. It just seemed at the time like so far away. And I posted on my Facebook that I'm sober, and people are saying, congratulations, I'm 9 months sober, I'm a year sober, I'm 5 years sober. And I'm like, wow, 5 years. I'm looking forward to my 1 year. I can't imagine what it's like having this clean, without that stupid fog for 5 years. I just can't imagine what it's like. I'm enjoying it so much at just 8 months. And I've talked about this before, how I quit. You know, once you get past the mentality of it, I've made up my mind. I'm tired of being sick. I got to the point to where, you know, it started out, I was depressed. And anybody that's been following this channel for a while, you probably know why. And then it got to the point where the kids got bigger and I no longer was depressed, but I used it to sleep. And it got to the point to where it doesn't matter how much I drink, I didn't really get tired, I just got sick. So once I finally quit, I decided to use marijuana, the devil's lettuce, to help me quit. And I used it for about a week in various forms. I smoked it a little bit. I made some butters a little bit, edibles if you will, even though I'm not a cook. And as much as it helped me, I know this is gonna really be the cardinal sin for real marijuana people, but I just don't like the smell. I can't stand the smell. It just smells so smoky to me. But I have to admit, I like the high that it gives you. It's a nice, mellow, easygoing high, and then that's what helped me get through those DTs. I forget what DT stands for now. It's been so long since I looked it up, but basically it's just night sweats, and I'd fall asleep. You know, like in the first 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, I'd fall asleep, and then I'd wake up and I'd just be soaked. Like my whole body and the sheets, everything was just soaked. And so I used marijuana, and I could at least get through the night sleeping, which is what my main reason for being on alcohol. Well, maybe not in the first place. The first place it was depression. But like I said, eventually just got to where I was addicted to it. And I just needed it to sleep. So I got off of it. And after that, again, I just, not being a person who doesn't like the smell of marijuana, I just quit doing that. And that brings me to another topic. I've noticed when a lot of people talk about sobriety, the textbooks say one thing, and the OGs, the real morons like me that really were addicted, it's a different thing. I don't consider someone who smokes marijuana all the time a horrible addict. And I know a lot of, being a libertarian, I know a lot of marijuana activists who were on the front lines of this years ago. I've felt this way for a long time. When I was younger I didn't, but I felt this way for a lot of years. At the time, during my activism with the family courts, I couldn't really talk about it. There's somebody on a paddleboard out there. I'm gonna go talk to that person when they get in and find out where they rented that. All right, sorry, squirrel moment. What was I talking about? Oh, marijuana. I couldn't openly talk about this because, as many of you know, marijuana shows up in your pee, in particularly the state of Texas. You could lose your job, you could lose your kids, lots of things you could lose. And I know there are people who vehemently disagree with me about marijuana, and that's fine. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree. I would venture to say if you hate marijuana, you probably had either a bad experience, something you did yourself, or somebody else whom you thought was on that. Maybe they're on something else. Maybe that there's a reason, that's the reason you don't like it. But for the haters that hate on it, if you ain't ever tried it, I don't really care to hear your opinion. Because, yeah, you had a bad experience because of somebody else. But for the vast majority of everybody who's ever just only on marijuana, not marijuana and other things, not marijuana and speed or pills or alcohol, that's different. Because that's not the marijuana per se, that's other things. And being in Florida, I think I probably qualify for a marijuana card. So, sometime this week or next week, I think I'm going to go to a doctor and just see what that doctor thinks. It's still tough. I'm not going to lie. Life's hard. It's hard enough as is. But I put on this persona, and I have for years, about, especially since I finally won in the family courts, that life is great. And it really is. That part's not a lie. But there's this old saying, and I've seen it floating around more recently on the internet, just because somebody carries it well doesn't mean it's not heavy. It's real heavy. It's extremely heavy. And if I can get a legal marijuana card, or whatever they call it, a medical card, I'm going to get it. It's not that I'm going to be smoking it, it's then for people like me who enjoy the relaxation of marijuana and do not like the smell, there's these things called edibles. And the marijuana people know exactly what I'm talking about, but some people may not. You can get the THC cooked into all kinds of things. Gummies, brownies, butter, pretty much anything. And yeah, you can still taste it a little bit, but you know, that's just something I'll just have to, poor me, suffer and live with. I think I'm gonna start out with some brownies and some gummies. Again, assuming a doctor sees that I'm fit for it. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm still scared to death to get caught with marijuana. Not so much here now, because at least in Florida it's not legalized recreationally, but I'm sure it will be soon. But it is legalized for medicinal purposes. I don't like going to jail. It's not fun. I don't care what anyone ever says. It's not fun at all. However, at the moment, it's not looked at as that big of a deal, thankfully. And on top of that, I don't have the risk of my children being yanked away from me anymore, because they're grown. And that is a really nice feeling. There's a big ship coming out of the, if you saw my live the other day, I'm about, I'd say 1.5 miles, 2 miles from the inlet, the Fort Pierce Inlet over there. And I seriously doubt you can see it, but there's a gigantic ship puffing and puffing, speaking of marijuana, coming out of that ship channel over there. It's too far for me to walk over, and I'm not going to be much longer on this, but anyway, I'm going to go see what my doctor says. And since it seems to be the popular thing these days for people to openly advertise what their medical stuff is, like getting that thing, because back when I was younger, and even as far as up until a couple years ago, you kept your medical stuff to yourself. You didn't openly brag about it and say, put little circle things around your Facebook profile and talk about this thing you got in your arm because of this hyped up imaginary threat that really isn't there. Well, it's there, but it's always been there. That's just life. People get sick, people die sometimes. So anyways, since it is popular to do that now, I think for once in my life I'm going to be a little sheep and just openly talk about what it is like if I do get my marijuana card. And I may just come down here to the beach and pop a couple of edibles down here and just walk along this gorgeous beach. In fact, I'm just going to walk down here right now. The waves are probably a little too loud. You probably won't be able to hear me, but I'm about done anyways. So catch me here in a couple, 3 weeks. I have no idea how long the process is of getting a marijuana card. And you'll get to see an old fart like me have some edibles and come down by the ocean with my socks and shoes off. Look, I'm even getting some sun. And ground myself in the water. In fact, I'll just walk in it right now. Hope I don't drop my phone. Whew. That is lovely. So anyway, I'll get back on here and get hired and shit on some edibles. And I know that's going to upset some people, but this is my life and I'm going to live it how I want to live it. And I encourage you to live your life however you seem fit, as long as you're not harming anybody else. Anyways, I'm about done here. I'm going to hang up and put my keys and my phone down, and I'm going to go for a walk until I get tired. Maybe that's 45 minutes, maybe that's 3 hours. I really don't know. Don't even care. I'm gonna go enjoy myself. So I hope everyone is doing well. I thoroughly enjoyed talking about my experience being a stupid drunk alcoholic and how I went about quitting. And I know there's a lot of people who see my posts on Facebook and elsewhere, even here, where I talk about it, and it makes them uncomfortable because here's the dirty secret. I know it makes you uncomfortable because I was you. You don't want to talk about, if you are an alcoholic, most people do not want to admit it. It's really embarrassing. It's humiliating. And people will fight it because most people don't like admitting they're wrong, much less wrong about being a deadbeat fucking alcoholic. So I enjoy talking about it, and if you know anybody that it's really bugging you, that they just won't put the bottle down, send them my videos. Give me about 20 minutes, and for whatever reason, all your comments right now, they don't carry over whenever it goes live on my channel. I have no idea why, but it takes me about 20 minutes to get it uploaded and turn the comments back on if you want to send this to somebody. If you've got questions about quitting, recommendations, I'll read them and talk about it as best as I can. In the meantime, this is where I'm going to go be for the next few hours. This gorgeous, gorgeous east coast of Florida on the beach. Y'all take care. Bye. Am I sure I want to quit streaming? Yes. Bye.